And once again, the diehard Arsenal fan Enoch out here. Let's hear it,
Yo,
Enoch. How you feeling? How you feeling after that what was it, 4-0
4
victory
nil.
against Leeds?
Yeah, that was good. I feel good, man. I'm glad we did it. After that United loss, rebounding, coming back to beat Leeds away. Leeds is a tricky fixture too, right? Because I think people go, "Oh, you beat Leeds 4 nil. What's a big deal?" Well, Leeds,
Yeah.
Calvert Lewin is firing back again. Yeah, I actually like Calvert Lewin. He's one of the guys I mean, he's always injured, but when he's on, so good to watch.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good that we walked away with 4 nil. That was awesome.
I mean, there was a lot of hate watching, and I was doing some hate watching as well because I was I, I didn't expect Arsenal to lose the game, but I was hoping they would. I wanted the title to get interesting a little bit. But Arsenal won. It was almost like, all right, everyone, calm down. That was one game we lost against a good United side.
Yep.
Relax. It's not going to happen every weekend. So it was good. It was almost like they said, guys, this title is ours. We're not letting it go. Just because we let one slip up doesn't mean we're changed this year. And if it was the Arsenal of a few years ago, they probably go on and draw that game, or maybe they scramble to win that game, and then the doubt kind of starts to creep in. But
Yeah.
they just put in a professional performance, and everyone was like, okay, I guess we should maybe shut up
That's what
because
it felt like. It was no drama. Just show
yeah,
up, 2 goals first half, 2 goals second half, done. It was almost like there were moments where Leeds were trying to come back, and then Arsenal just clamped it down. It's like, nope, not today. And it's kind of like what you expect, what I expected from Arsenal the past couple of years, that they could do that. It just I feel like the team is finally matured because you could tell like the years past they can do it. And it was always like they play United, they play Tottenham, they play I don't know about Tottenham, they play Chelsea, City, and even Newcastle sometime, right? And it was like those are tough games, and then you play their Brentfords, and you're going to play the Wolves, and it's like why are we doing this? We should just go in those games and beat those guys and move on, right? And
yeah,
it kind of felt like this is the first one where they went in and you're like, wow, okay, yeah. It almost felt like Villa-esque. I feel like Villa was like, we're pissed, that Villa game, and this one just kind of felt like, no, we're not pissed. We lost to United. Okay, so what? Come
yeah.
on, we're
Let's
getting our
get it back
points,
on
three
track.
points, and we're going home, right?
Yeah,
And we're
yeah.
prepped for the Carabao weekday game.
What do you think was the major factor that played into Arsenal with such a dominant and convincing performance? What do you think
I mean, I
happened there?
think I think for one, um, Arteta talked about where they had a meeting after the Man U game, and he I don't know if you read like we're gonna be happy, we have this happiness into the season. I don't know
Hey,
what if
I
that was
wonder
a
if he pulled out the light bulb talk again.
maybe, hey guys, like come on, let's get back at it. But I felt like part of it too is like, okay, you lost to United, but you can still control your own destiny. And I think that the guys were really go, okay, like we lost a game, no big deal. Let's get back at it, build our lead, and we as long as we keep winning games, we control our destiny, right? If we keep dropping points and we get empty. So I think that was kind of that. And then the other part is players coming back, being healthy again, and you have Havertz. I mean, he's back, and I hope he stays back. Just watching his performance, and I think the way he played, getting assists and the goal, kind of you want to see Havertz
I
back.
gotta say, I gotta jump on this Havertz one because when Havertz signed for us now, you were not
I
on
was a
that train.
Havertz. Yeah, well, I mean, when Havertz came to Arsenal, I agree with you. I remember I was a big Havertz hater because I thought that watching him play at Chelsea, you could tell that he kind of gave me. No, he was a good player when he first got to Chelsea, but then somewhere in there, he kind of lost himself. He had no confidence. So when we signed him, I was like, "What are we doing?" And it felt like a Sterling. We got Sterling, no confidence coming from Chelsea. similar to what we got with Sterling. But then I think it was like 4 games in to that season, I went, oh, okay. I'm glad we signed this guy, because I could tell he came and he said, I got a point to prove. Chelsea didn't want me, even though I won the Champions League for them. I want like I think he was actually looking for a place where he can like cement his legacy, even though he hasn't won any trophies with Arsenal. If you asked me now, what are people remembering Havertz with? I feel like he's an Arsenal guy. Like you know what I mean? Like it's unfortunate he's been injured, but I think he's an Arsenal player now. He works hard for Arsenal. He feels that he's a
Yeah.
part of the Arsenal DNA. Where
Yeah.
I don't think you could say Havertz was ever like a Chelsea guy. Like if Havertz would have finished and he went to Atletico, he went somewhere else, it would just be like, oh yeah, he also played at Chelsea before. Oh, that guy played at Chelsea. Yeah, he won the Champions League there.
Yeah, which is crazy to think too, because
Yeah,
he scored that winning goal in the Champions League
correct.
final for Chelsea.
Yeah. So
The
when you
only
think about it,
goal.
like I feel like Havertz was never a Chelsea guy, and coming to Arsenal, I was kind of like he might not be an Arsenal guy, and he moves on. But now, like after the first few games playing for Arsenal, seeing how he cared about Arsenal and how he's been, since he's been there. People give him flack. I defend Harvard's now because I think the guy, like watching a guy come back from multiple injuries, and like I've been there before, and work is behind off. I respect that. Like some people just quit, and he hasn't. So I think, having him back this season, there's a bit of an emotional boost to the rest of the guys that are going at it, and also Jokic is going shoot. I better start scoring goals. If I don't, I'm gonna find my behind in a bench.
Yeah.
So I better, and I think it's giving him that extra motivation because I think for a while also Jokic kind of had I don't know where you went, Kenny. Let's say but I think Jokic kind of had this whole like, hey, I'm here, no one's gonna see me. Like Harvard's coming back, it's kind of like, hey, you better step your game up. I'm here,
Yeah.
and I think they're only gonna push that striker core to kind of really
Yeah.
get it going.
Yeah, it's and I think over the last 4 games, I know Havertz did not really, he didn't feature against Man U, but over the last 3, 4 games that he's played in, he's had what 3 goals and maybe 2 assists, or maybe it's one
I think
assist.
it's is it 3 goals? I thought it was 2 goals. 2 goals and
So two
no,
goals or maybe one assist or
2 goals,
two.
one
But,
assist.
but
Yeah,
still, his numbers are good for someone who is recovering from re-injury, and I watch him play, and he's almost like he's a forward. He knows what the forward player needs in terms of
yeah,
supply. So he's releasing that ball a little earlier than someone like Odegaard would.
yeah.
And he's just saying, okay, here you go.
Do
Chase
the
after
thing.
this ball, fight
That's
for
it.
it.
Yeah,
He's releasing it early enough. So Jokeris is making the run and he's getting the ball.
that's
It's like
exactly it.
he doesn't
And then,
have to
and
like
then
stop his
not only
track.
that, everybody else is seeing Havertz do it, and they go, "Oh, wait a minute! If we release him now, he
No.
can hold the ball up. Oh, he can run the defenders." And they're like, "Let's do it." Where I feel like Odegaard is kind of like, I'm gonna do this flare. I'm gonna do this trick. He's used to releasing wingers to come in, and then he takes his own shot. Never really releasing a striker with the ball. So I think that's also a different dynamic. Now teams have to think about that because Arteta can play Havertz in a cam role,
Yeah.
as a second striker,
Yeah.
and now him and Jokeres, if they can continue to build
Yeah.
that partnership, I think it's like I don't know, it sucks for Odegaard because I don't see a role for him in that lineup
Yeah.
uh,
You
as a
know what?
starter. But
Arsenal have a lot of good problems for Arteta because between Odegaard, Havertz coming back in, Eze is not getting any minutes whatsoever, which is actually ridiculous because he was such a silky footballer for Crystal Palace, and he's the kind of player that releases strikers on time.
yep,
Maybe he's not as quick as Havertz, but you will take Eze all day long before Havertz normally. But
yeah.
I mean, it's looking like Havertz is a better fit for Jokeris. So see how that develops. But at
But
the
then
end
you
of
have
the
like
day,
Madueke, like on our wing. No Saka, no problem. Got Madueke, and
yeah,
Madueke again, another player where when he came, we were all going like, "What the heck? Another Chelsea guy? Like, what are we doing here?" Right? And I think I don't know who's. I think it might have been you or Jeff was like, "Oh, this Madueke guy is actually really good," And this time I was like, I'm not gonna judge him until we see how he plays. And I think he's
Yeah.
again like a Havertz. He wants to prove himself because
Yeah, I'm
Chelsea
going to
didn't
take
want him.
credit for that one
What's
because I
that?
did tell you, I did say Madueke was good,
Yeah, you
and
did.
I
And
did
again,
say,
I didn't judge because I said, okay, like let's give him a chance and see what
yeah,
he can do, right? And I think he has a point. He wants to prove himself, and I think he's one of the guys. He's Madueke coming in and saying, no, I want to be known as an Arsenal player. Like if Madueke keeps playing the way he's playing continuously for 3 4 seasons, I think we look back and say, is Madueke a Chelsea player? You know what I mean, or is he an Arsenal player? And I think the way he's kind of I could see at Chelsea he was frustrated a lot, coming in from PSV. He's like finding his ground. I feel like at Arsenal he's there. He's like, okay, I don't play today, no problem. Put me in tomorrow. I'm gonna show up. And I think that's what you need for teams that win titles. You need
yeah,
that. You need the guys.
yeah,
The next guy comes in. He's like, I'm ready. I don't play today,
yeah,
no problem. Put me in tomorrow. I'll do my thing. And I think that's a
yeah.
good problem to have for sure for Arsenal.
Yeah. So yeah, no, at the end of the day, I'll give Arsenal credit. They have a solid team. So it's unfortunate that they lost against Manchester United, but I thought Man U was good in that game. So, but we've talked about it already, so no need to revisit it. I don't want to rub salt on injury, because I know you guys are still Arsenal fans are still suffering. But I'm curious, what do you think that they have a few fixtures coming up over the next few weeks? Let's just look at what their fixture list looks like. Because I think with the run of fixtures they have coming in, they could potentially, you know, put some distance in, between themselves, Man City and Aston Villa. So their next games are Sunderland. Sunderland is a pretty decent team, but I think Arsenal have enough to beat Sunderland. Brentford will put up a fight. They'll test Arsenal. So that could be a fight. Then they have this FA Cup tie against Wigan Athletic, which should be a win. And then they kind of get in their fixtures get a little bit more trying because now they play their local
Two
rivals
London derbies back to
Tottenham and
back,
then
right?
Chelsea.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think the run in from here on out, it's not gonna be easy. I think, I look at the next four fixtures outside of the FA Cup one. I think the FA Cup one they should win. If they lose, it's on them, but they should win. But it's like you look at the Sunderland at home. We played well against Sunderland away, and I think it was just a moment where we didn't have enough guys. So I think I can see them doing well. Brentford's going to be a tricky one. Watching Brentford play, I guess 10 men versus Aston Villa, and they just bossed Aston Villa in that game. With 10 men, and I think if Shada doesn't go off, Brentford still wins that game, and by more margin. As much as Aston Villa fans can complain, I felt that Brentford were very composed. They defended well. They came in saying, "Hey, we don't need the ball as much, but we're gonna get at you when we need to." So that's something Arsenal would expect, right? So games like the Brentford one away will be a tricky one. It's one of those games where you would need a Havertz or a Gyökeres to step in, get a goal at the beginning of the game, get another goal, and you're up 2-0, and now they have to open up. And then when they open up, you can go at them. I think Shada is out that game. But they have Igor Jesus who plays pretty well. So that's be a tough game. The Chelsea game, I'm not too worried about playing Chelsea at home, Premier League wise. Chelsea's defense is still not very good. Versinia coming in, getting them going. I think it's there's a bit of things that's changed, but at the same time, I think it's just getting results. I don't necessarily know if Chelsea has fundamentally fixed their issues that they
Yeah.
had before with Maresca. So I don't see the Chelsea one being a problem. The Tottenham one really would depend. Like if Arsenal go to Tottenham unfortunately has a lot of injuries. They rallied against Manchester City, but I don't know if Tottenham can keep that level of rallying, every single game. Just because their defense is well and midfield
Yeah.
is pretty poor. So I think you can go into those Chelsea, like the London derbies, seem like they'll be the tricky ones, but I see Arsenal going in and winning those. I think the two games, like the Sunderland and Brentford ones, that can be a bit tricky, right? And
Yeah.
especially knowing that the next, like if like you said, if they win Brentford, Sunderland and Brentford, there's a possibility that Man City drops points against Liverpool, depending on what Liverpool we get. and you build yourself enough cushion that those London Derby games becomes an opportunity to really extend
Yeah.
it and really show like, hey, you know what, Man City, not this year.
Yeah.
And I think Arteta's looking at it. I think one of the benefits is the FA Cup run in comes in at a time where you don't have to use everybody. You still have a good rotation you can put in, and the Champions League is done for now, so you don't have to worry about playing every 3 days.
Yeah.
Carabao Cup is done now until the March 22nd, I think, is when the final is, right? So now you don't have this, like, you could take a week off and actually plan for teams. And I think Arsenal, well rested, can
Yeah.
really do some damage, right? Like with
Yeah.
teams, yeah. And
That's
everybody
awesome. I
coming back
mean,
from injury, so I think that's it's going to be quite helpful.
can you imagine how would you feel if at the end of this season Arsenal have 4 trophies?
Oh, I mean, come on.
It's
If they
doable.
do, it's doable. It's tough though, right? I think I was talking about
It's
that.
gonna
It's
be
tough.
tough.
It's doable, but it's tough. I mean, I feel like you win, you take it one at a time, right? You win the Carabao Cup against Man City, doable, right? It's a cup, and you got to go at it. But Man City is used to winning as well. But I think Arsenal, like with the last trophy we got, we beat Man City with a very poor team compared to this team. But again, you got to go and play the game, right? So I think that's doable. FA Cup is tricky. Everybody's in the FA Cup. Everyone's still in the FA Cup. I think United's out. Who else is out? I think that's it. You are it. Out of the top
Yeah.
teams, everybody else is still in.
Only
So
United. Only United.
Grimsby Let's not talk about that. So I think that it's tricky, right? So I think for me, if Arsenal win 2 trophies, the league has to be the one. Like, like, I don't care about the other ones. Like, if we never win the Champions League in my lifetime, you know what I mean? We got to win the league.
Yeah.
It's our league, and we have to win that. I think that's the most important one. If we get extra on top of that, the Carabao Cup, maybe FA Cup, whatever. Sure, like it's a cherry on the top. But I think I would consider the season a success by winning,
Yeah.
like not the Carabao Cup, but really winning, like winning the league would be, for me, it's the most important. But the Carabao Cup can be a catalyst to say, hey guys, we just won the Carabao Cup. Now let's push for it, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be
All
great.
right.
If they win four, I'm going to London this summer. You heard it here first. If they win four, I'm booking my flight. London, I'll be back again. You'll see me this summer.
Yes, yeah, yeah. All right. Well, let's shift the focus real quick.
Yeah.
Manchester United. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's three on the bounce. A very dramatic game against Fulham, to be honest. It was one of those games where United looked in control, but you always knew that they were going to make it interesting until the end. And it did not fail. It just did not fail.
I mean,
Because
I learned something about that game, Kenneth, that I have the power to control, United games. So
I
I'll
told you
use
to
it.
stop
I'll use it
texting.
wisely from now on. I got you. With the days when I want you guys to feel a little pain, I'm gonna, I'm gonna just text you. I'm gonna say
Oh
good.
my goodness. It was interesting. I mean, the game I was relaxed. I was very comfortable on my couch watching the game, drinking some tea, and the next thing you know it's 2-1. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but this game turned because we Manchester United players have sometimes they have the inability to read a situation well.
Mhm.
Now, that penalty that was awarded to Fulham, if you watch the game again, the goalkeeper, Sammy Lemens, was in a good position and he made the save.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire did not need to make that sliding tackle. He was already too far. There was only going to be one result from that tackle because he was desperate. He was desperate, and there was only going to be one result. If I was the defender, and I know in hindsight, it's easy to say right now, but he should have read that situation as a professional footballer and maybe decide, maybe I should run back and cover the goal because Jimenez was still far away from goal. He had to do a lot to get past
Yeah.
Lemons at that point. So covering the goal was the better option. But hey, guess what? We like drama, so of course there had to be drama in the game,
Of course. I
and here
mean,
we are.
you can't have United in the last, what, 8 years without drama, right? Even the Arsenal game, the drama of the last goal, right? I mean, it made it exciting. But I remember watching that game going, wow, United is really going at them, 2-0 up. They got this, right? I think and then eventually, I feel like the players' mentality hasn't shifted yet to like, okay, we're beating these guys 2-0. Let's choke them.
Yes.
Yeah, we're away, but let's go at them
Kill off the
and let's
game.
go
Yeah.
finish this. Like we're gonna. It's still that mentality of like, oh my gosh, we're up 2-0. Wow, look at us.
Surprise.
We're up 2-0. Can you believe it? We're up 2-0. Like that's what it looked like. Like they start looking at each other like, I can't believe it. It's the 75th minute and we're up
Yeah.
2-0. And it was like, and then when that happened, you could see Fulham start to say, okay, hey, we're desperate. We're gonna just
Throw everything.
throw
Yeah.
everything up there. And I think that's a good, solid team. That's the opportunity to
Yeah.
say, okay, you're gonna throw everything. We'll wait for you and we'll counter you and we'll get another goal and we'll in the game. But that
Yeah.
didn't happen. United's like, oh my gosh, now they're throwing everything at us because we're 2-0 up. What do we do? And then you have
Yeah.
desperate tackles, the penalty, right? When the penalty happened, what was it, 85th minute?
It was
Or-
the 85th minute. Yeah.
Right? And I was like, what is going on? And why are we getting a penalty in the 85th minute? And then, you fast forward to the second goal. I mean, it was just incredible. It was like the Dorgu goal against Arsenal, right? There's nothing you can do about it, you know?
Yeah.
It was just like,
It reminds me of the same goal that was scored against Man U. That's Man U considered against Aston Villa, where what's his name? Morgan Rogers scored twice from basically the same position.
yeah.
And it just seems like people love to score wonder goals
Well,
against Man U,
I don't.
but
I think no one closed him down,
no.
and he was. This is like I've seen that guy try this trick this whole season. Kevin, right? He tries the same
Yeah.
trick. I've seen him try it against every team, and it's just people close him down, and nothing happens. And then I say, oh, here comes Kevin trying the same trick that he tries every game. Of course, someone is gonna close. I'd never. And then I went, wait a minute. He's got a lot more space.
Yeah, top corner.
What is he gonna do with this one? And I was literally gonna text. I think they're gonna shut him down. And before I could hit send, the ball went in, and I went, oh, okay, delete, because I was like, did they just let this guy come in at 2-1 and he scored? And of course, so I feel like there's still Carrick who still has to work on United to know how to close out games, because I think
Yeah.
they still have, and I feel like it's one of those things where when you operate in this function for so long, it's hard for you to just shift. So I think that's
Yeah.
what's going on, right? Like it's like there's for the past whatever, Ten Hag, then you have, Amorim. Before that, who was the guy before that? It was the German guy. The German guy who went to,
Yeah, yeah,
Rangnick,
yeah.
Rangnick. And before, so there's been a lot of dysfunction and changes of systems. I think the players are just like, man, like, and then when they're up 2-0, they still need to work on going, okay, we're up 2-0. We're going to close down. We're going to work, because they do really hard. Like they work really hard first half. And then it's like, second half, they kind of go back to they revert to their old self. The formation was great. You're playing a 4-4-2, easy formation. Should be easy for people to step in and block the pockets. And so I think,
Yeah, but the one thing I definitely realized though is every time Casemiro is taken off, and rightfully so, I think he got a knock in the game, and so Carrick opted to take him off and put on Ugarte. And the minute Ugarte was coming on, I text Francois. I said, "Here we go," because
yeah.
he doesn't
Why does Ugarte play?
cover ground.
Why does Ugarte play? Why does Ugarte? How does Ugarte deserve to be a man? Like you tell me as a Man U fan, right? How? And I'm not knocking on a professional footballer because these guys they work on their game for a while. So I'm just speaking as someone who watches the game. How does Manuel Ugarte get to play and come in at games for Manchester United? I still need that explanation because I don't think he's got the quality. Like he's not up to snuff to be on a top team.
I would say this though. I would say this. When he first came in, he was doing well. He was covering ground. And I think a lot of Man U fans out there were happy that we got him because even though he wasn't doing very well at PSG, but he came in and had a lot of fire in his belly. He was running around, covering ground, winning tackles. He was good. And somewhere along the line, I think his confidence took a shot and his level or his quality has dropped. Some people say he never really had it, but I think he showed signs of it early on at United, but he since then is not being good. He's almost playing like he's scared of making a mistake,
Yeah.
but then that makes him make a mistake, right? So that goal, he should have been there to close him down. Like, and if you watch his movement, he like steps back, and then by the time he steps forward again, the opportunity has gone, right?
Yeah.
So him on the team, like Casemiro has to stay longer in the game, but unfortunately,
Like he's
we
old,
need
right?
him
And
to
he's
be
getting
available for
injured.
the next game,
Yeah.
right? So I think that was the turning point, and that's where things kind of started to go sideways. But take nothing away from Man U, right? Take nothing away from Man U. They held themselves together. They showed up. They put themselves out there. They made sure they walked away from Old Trafford with 3 points, and
Yep.
that was down to just fight spirit, belief, and that was incredible. And again, credit to Sesko because he's been in and out of the team, but if you watch his goal,
Oh, that goal was sick. I mean,
not even once, not even once did he turn around and look at where the goal was.
no, it's
He
like the guy knows
knew.
what it, and I think I told you about this, right? Watching Sesko play coming in, and I know we were giving everybody flack. We're like, man, look at the tall 7-footer coming in and he's scoring all the goals, but like he's dried up since, right? But you can see Sesko, there's I think we talked about this. Whoever gets Sesko needs to give him time. So if you need a proven guy who's going to get you the goals, he's not the guy. But if you
Yeah,
have time and you want to let someone actually like develop, and I think he's the guy. And I think he's also it's good that he hasn't been getting all the playing time because it's allowed him to have less pressure to perform. Because if you're not playing enough, no one can say, "Well, it's your fault." Be like, "Well, I'm getting 20 minutes a game," you know. So I think having the Cunhas and the Mboimo back gives Sesko a bit of an ability to like really like figure out his own style within United because he's good at holding the ball. He's good at laying the ball off. Now, like watching that goal, he gets the ball played, puts it down, does like he turns, and
and just
like and at that point, the only thing that the defender can do is slide behind him and foul him,
yeah,
and he just he picked it where he needed the ball to go,
yeah.
and he put it there. And I think that's really what you want your forward, like your striker, doing, right? Like Zlatan, like that's as like watching that, I'm like that's a Zlatan goal,
Yeah.
like a PSG
Going off
Zlatan
of instincts, man.
or
He no
a
thought about it.
a
So
Cavani goal, right? Where they're just big, tall guys get the ball, face, your back's behind the goal, turn. The goalkeeper now doesn't know where you're gonna go. You put the ball where like without even thinking, you already know. Like when I turn around, I see where he
100%.
is. The ball's coming to me. I see where the keeper is. When I turn, I'm gonna put it there. If the keeper goes and saves it, I'm gonna hit it really hard too. And
Yeah.
if the keeper makes a save for it, it is what it is. But that's where I'm going, so I don't have to think anymore and look and like take that. It's like I get the ball, turn, shoot, and I think that's what you want your striker doing. And I was like, wow, like watching that goal, I said, okay, like this guy, and I think that's what Hoyland failed to do. You know, for being the same size, like Hoyland just didn't have
He didn't have
that.
the same instincts. Yeah.
Yeah.
His instincts were. And yeah, listen, I'm not. I like Hoyland, so I'm not gonna give him any kind of
No,
stick.
I like
But
Hoyland too.
I think he was.
He's like the knockoff, right? Haaland.
Yeah, he was very raw for sure. He
Yeah.
needed time. He needed service. But hey, I wish him all the best of luck out there.
Yep.
But it is what it is. But next up, let's just give a quick shout out to Manchester City. That was the most
Thank you, Manchester
that
City.
was the most interesting game I've watched of City. They had no idea what to do with Tottenham in the second half.
Dude,
Absolutely.
it wasn't. I wouldn't even say interesting. It was weird. It
It
was
was
a
very
weird.
yes.
It was a very weird game because here's Tottenham, right? And they have no, I think 13 players, senior players, 13. That's all they got. Christian Romero was kind of sick or whatever, and he started. You know, you could just. I remember seeing, like, of course, like I'm like, oh, they're playing Tottenham. What's gonna happen? And I saw Tottenham play. The first goal was so easy. Like the guy dribbled, scored. I'm like, all right, today 4-0, 5-0 maybe. That's what I'm thinking. They scored a second goal. I go,
Yeah.
it's over for Tottenham today.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going like, yep, it's over. They go into halftime, and I'm like, I don't know, and I feel bad for Thomas Frank because I like Thomas Frank. I don't like Tottenham, but I like Thomas Frank. You know, from his time at Brentford, it seems like to me like a cool guy, like you know, he's trying his best. And I said, I don't know what Thomas Frank is gonna say, what he's gonna say to this guys to get them to you know, sorry, that's my son. You can hear it, guys. You know this guy. No respect for for this, you know. He's also a soccer player, so we'll see. But you know, I was like, I don't know what you're gonna go and tell your players when they're playing as bad as they played that first half. But I think towards the end of that first half, though, you can kind of see the wheels started like turning, and I think Man City went into the locker room going, "We won the game. We just need to show up in the second
That would
half.
be good.
The game is over. We're in this toilet bowl. We're gonna dump on it, and that's it." And I think Tottenham came back and said, "Well, I don't know.
We're gonna go.
We're gonna," and you could see the second half, Tottenham players just like went, "Okay, we're professional players too. We're not gonna let," and then they went at it, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like it was good for them to do that. Although the first goal was,
Yeah,
I think it was a
suspicion.
foul, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's kind of trick one, right? Because like as someone who plays forward, if I'm winding up to take my shot and you just insert your leg there, I was already, you know, shooting my shot, right? Like who
Yeah.
interrupted who? But in the law of football, you kick the guy from the back, but you know, it's a foul. So I think when if a defender would have done that, they call it a PK. So I think the rightful thing would have been to rule out that goal, but they didn't, which only
Yeah.
gave Tottenham more. And I think United was stunned from that. I mean,
The
sorry,
City.
Man City was stunned, and they went, "Oh shoot!" Like they just let that goal in, and they collapsed. And I
Yeah.
think the whole second half, City spent more time worrying that they're going to. I thought they were going to lose that game. They were lucky that they
Yeah.
walked out with 1 point. I thought they were going
Yeah.
to lose the game because Tottenham had them in their pocket the whole second half, and you could see even Holland nothing like they just shut him down, and Romero wasn't even in the game. You know, they
Yeah.
brought in like guys who don't even know how to play football, Matthias Dell and whatever, and somehow
Yeah.
they kept going, right? So
Yeah. I would say Man City definitely let that game slip away because yes, the first goal could have been a foul, but that is no excuse for the way they dropped off their level of performance. So I mean, we're talking about Man City here. They
yeah,
had their players, they had some of their strongest team, they had their strongest team out there. So, but again, Pep knows that Tottenham are a second half team.
yeah,
So, like you said, the game was weird because I sat there watching this game and I said, City could lose this game. I mean, they were so switched off that it was
yep,
so hard for them to switch back on.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
and let's not even talk about it. Like after the game, Rodri was complaining during his interview
I saw
that
that. Yeah,
nobody wants Man City to win, that it was a
I,
foul. I mean, come on, man. We're talking about
yeah, I saw that as
116
well,
charges.
and I was like, come on, bro, chill. When you were winning
Yeah,
all the time, I didn't hear you
you win it all
complaining.
the time.
You were
You
getting
have 116 charges hanging over your head. Come on,
Yeah,
please
you're
give me a
getting
break.
soft
I mean,
PKs handed to you. I remember the soft
yeah,
PKs that they were giving them. You know, and you don't hear him complaining about the soft PKs that they give to what's his name, the guy, what's Belgian guy. He's always cutting in, and somehow you know he shimmies into a player. They give him a PK, right? So I think it's like take your loss and move on, man. Like you know, and they
yeah,
got Liverpool
yeah.
to play next week, so good luck to them. Hopefully
I
Liverpool
know.
we get it. We get for me the best result would be a draw again. Like you know,
Yeah,
I'll take a draw between the two of them. Like yeah. United
yeah.
can finish second. That's fine. I'll live with that.
Listen, I'll tell you what though, if Man City drops point again and Aston Villa drop point, then they've just opened up those
Yeah,
top three positions to the rest of the chasing
yeah.
pack. Because if United continue to win
Chelsea keeps winning.
and
United keeps
Chelsea
winning.
win,
Who knows,
then
right?
it's a race to the finish at that point. As long as, but again, I still think all those teams are going to drop points. Arsenal have all the momentum they need because City, Chelsea, Villa, Man U, Liverpool, none of these teams have convinced us enough that they are consistent. So the most
Yep.
consistent team usually wins, and that's Arsenal. So it just might be your year. It just might be your year after all. It
Let's
just might
see.
be. So
Let's see. I'm getting summoned by my gang there because they're instant
yeah.
to head out. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
have
But
to.
anyways, all right. Well, this has been entertaining. Once again, thanks for joining me on the show. We'll do this
Yeah.
again some other time, and I hope Arsenal lose. But listen, guys, once
Hey, man, come
again,
on. I'm not gonna use my powers that you know I have to get Man U to lose. So come on, man. Give us, give us our trophy, Kenny. You know,
that's fair. That's
give us the
fair.
good vibes. I'll give you guys the good vibes. We win the league this year. We'll see what happens to United next year. Maybe you hire Carrick. Maybe you hire the guy from Brentford, or I mean, what's the guy? Crystal Palace guy. I think he's
Crystal
the leading
Palace.
candidate
Yeah.
right now. I would go get Glasner. I don't know if I'm convinced by Carrick yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, thanks, guys. That concludes our show. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button as well. Thanks, guys. Catch you guys.